Why are fingers bad?
Because I just think it's antisocial, and if you want your children to experience food, cook with them, bake with them. But, you know, really, it's a little bit like teaching your children to say doggy, and then you have to teach them to say dog. If you teach them to use the cutlery,
Yes.
then you don't
Could I
have to...
just say to you, is it not more important in this day and age, it's not how children eat, it's what they eat, which is more important?
Well, yes, but that's a different subject, isn't it?
Well, sometimes the argument is... Well, Danielle, remind me how old your kids are now.
They are 8, 7, 4 and 10 months.
Right,
Have you ever
so
found
you're
out
in
what's
the
causing
stage...
that?
Got no telly.
Oh.
So you're in the stage where you're getting them to put things in their mouth at all. You want them to reach for the broccoli.
Yeah.
So if they reach for it and play with it, that's fine. I guess what you're talking about is when they start to be old enough to go out for meals and be grown up.
But my kids, so when we go out for food to a nice restaurant, then they know they have to eat with the knives and forks. But, you know, if we go for a Sunday dinner and they want to pick up a potato, I don't see the problem. As long as they're eating the food, what is the problem?
Well, it could be deemed as uncouth.
Well, you know, if they wash their hands and they've got clean hands and they're actually eating the broccoli, then I don't see the problem.
Well, you say this, and I know what you mean, but I feel like sometimes, particularly when my mum and dad are visiting, because I think that's when I'm really conscious of how messy it looks. You know, like when you've got your own parents looking at you. I feel like meals become a battleground, because if you let them eat with their hands normally because you think quiet life, and at least they're eating healthy food, then at the moment when you want them to not eat, like when my mum and dad are there and pick up a knife and fork, it becomes a real battle, and you feel like you're just telling them off, and it's no longer fun.
My 4-year-old literally won't like... I could tell him till he's blue in the face to use a fork and he still wouldn't listen. Sometimes
then
if
you
he's
know what you do.
spaghetti
You
bolognese,
take the meal and you put it over there and you say, darling, when you use your cutlery, I'll give you that back. And if you're hungry,
if he's eating
you'll use it.
If he's eating it, then he's eating it. Sometimes my 4-year-old will literally pick up a spaghetti bolognese and put it in his mouth.
Lovely.
But it is, and I don't see why it's a problem as long as he's eating it. Whereas my 7-year-old,
But you want him to, wouldn't want him to do that at 40, would you?
No,
So
exactly.
when's the moment that you jump
2
in?
years ago.
No, but he knows that when he goes to a restaurant, he would never eat like that at a restaurant, but at home, I don't see the problem. You pick up pizza with your hands, you'd eat an apple. You know, if you go to the fish
I do worry
chip
about
shop.
hygiene, though, Danielle.
But if they've got clean hands, you make sure they wash their hands.
long as
What
it's
is the
a-
problem?
And I think about everybody else around the table. I wouldn't want to sit next to a child who's picking up spaghetti bolognese and ramming it in. I would like to see them eat
don't
properly.
sit next to him.
And Lorraine,
it's not
there's
just
also a
grown-ups,
cultural thing on this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some
Of
people, and there's some races and peoples who would eat with their hands and they would find that quite normal. But there's a differentiation.
Yeah, but
here.
we're not in that culture, are we? We're in this culture. It's like when you go to a Chinese restaurant, they give you chopsticks, OK? Because that's how they eat. If you want to be part of that, you eat with them. If not, you ask them for a fork.
It's part of the problem that a lot of the food we eat, it's hand food now. We eat burgers, we eat pizzas, we eat chips. Is it because the kind of meat and 2 veg and gravy dinner is less often eaten?
No, I don't think so. I look after my grandson every week. He eats a piece of salmon, he eats mashed potatoes, and he eats vegetables. And he cuts it with a spoon, cuts it with a fork, or I cut it for him, and he eats it like that. And he says to me, no fingers. He's 2. No fingers. And he uses his...
a burger with a knife and fork,
No.
then, or not? No. So he would use his fingers for some food?
For some food, but a burger's too big. You know, you have to think about it. That'd be cut into sections.
We
Even
also had a
things
big
like
poll.
peas.
Let's see what our poll's done. And have you given the fingers to this proposal? Should children be allowed to eat with their hands? There you are. 39% say yes. They should be allowed to eat with their hands. But there you are. Nearly
say no.
two-thirds saying no, they should not. OK. But does that surprise you that there's actually maybe more than you may think?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all, because I think fundamentally we live in an age, and I'm not criticising you, but fundamentally we live in an age where it's, for some people, it's much easier to let them do what they want to do, right? While we are on the phone.
Okay.
But I sit there with my children.
That's
and
why I
they-
said I'm not
Yeah, no, and
criticising
I
you. I'm
understand
just
you're not,
saying for
but
some people.
It doesn't mean that because they're eating with the fingers, I'm not watching them. Like, I
Okay.
sit down and eat
Guys,
with
we've
them.
got to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much indeed.